Travel creators aim for narrative transportation, the psychological state where an audience moves past the screen and begins to feel present in the destination. Yet most creators fail to achieve this. They often spend thousands on cinema cameras to capture dynamic environments, only to pair that footage with a chronological diary entry. The visual experience is expansive, but the script remains a static list of events. Look at this breakdown of a typical travel sentence. Writers often rely on the adjective trap, using hollow words like breathtaking, bustling, or amazing. These act as generic placeholders. They inform the viewer that a place is good, but they fail to describe what makes it exist. When the brain encounters these unspecific descriptors repeatedly, it stops processing the language. The viewer's cognitive engagement drops, and they eventually tune out the voiceover. Beautiful footage cannot overcome a script that acts as a psychological barrier. Cinematic construction begins when we treat writing as a tool to shape the viewer's experience, rather than a way to label what they see. The first layer of cinematic scripting is structural. We replace the chronological "and then" sequence with dynamic momentum. The writers of South Park ensure their plots never stall by connecting story beats with specific conjunctions. Instead of "and then," they link scenes using "but" or "therefore." In a travel context, this creates cause and effect. You missed the last train out of Kyoto, therefore you had to walk the back streets at midnight, but that led you to an undocumented ramen stand. This foundational tension drives the viewer from one scene to the next. Without it, atmospheric language is just decorative frosting on a stagnant plot. Once the structural momentum is set, the script needs an optical lens to focus the viewer's attention. We do this by swapping passive verbs for highly specific action verbs. Anton Chekhov established a definitive rule for this when he said, "Don't tell me the moon is shining, show me the glint of light on broken glass." This forces the audience to infer the mood through detail rather than exposition. This schematic shows the process. We take a passive sentence, locate a generic verb, and target it for removal. Substituting it with an action verb delivers deep contextual information. The audience senses the subject's physical exhaustion without further explanation. Strong verbs act as the engine of pacing. They deliver complex emotional and visual data rapidly, preventing the edit from dragging. The third layer is sensory design. Visual writers often over-index on what things look like while ignoring the other four senses at their disposal. The olfactory bulb routes directly into the limbic system. Using pungent, specific smell words like burning charcoal or crushed anise triggers deep associative memories. To integrate this, we use the weaving method. Instead of pausing the video for a block of description, you weave the tang of cumin or the crunch of dry leaves directly into the action of the scene. This radar chart maps the sensory experience. A script relying only on visual descriptions creates a lopsided mental space. Filling out the auditory and olfactory ENA creates a more balanced three-dimensional environment for the viewer. Immersion relies on feeding the brain the specific multisensory data it needs to construct a mental memory of the destination. Written words have frame rates. The descriptive density of a script acts as its master speed control mechanism. To match sweeping visuals, we slow the narrative pace. Long vowel sounds and dense lyrical sensory imagery force a measured delivery that allows the viewer to linger in the moment. This timeline compares our pacing tools. For quick edits, we use short sentences, hard consonants, and stripped-down action to keep the viewer moving with the rhythm of the cuts. This combination of structural momentum, precise verbs, and rhythmic pacing builds a sense of presence that keeps an audience engaged throughout the story. The camera records the light of a location. The script captures the experience, completing the journey for the viewer.